Yeah, but the city is giving me a hard time. You know how many
They
people
aren't giving
have?
you a hard
Yes,
time. I
they are,
talked to
because
the
you know how many
commissioner
people
two
have
days
these
ago.
things and they don't have they didn't get permits for them.
I
So,
talked to the
so
commissioner two
I'm
days
sure
ago.
who Sam Morelli?
Yes,
Ask him about Freddie Basket.
I did.
Oh, he don't like me, right?
I don't know
Yeah, he don't like me.
whether he likes you
Sam
or
don't
not.
like me. I
He
know
said
Sam.
he said
Everybody
you
knows
didn't
me
do what
very
you're
well.
supposed to do.
They're giving me a hard time purposely. Okay, they want me to take this down. I'll take it down, and they're going to give me the full
Red
time. I don't need
wins.
to do it anymore
Fatality.
because we're not. This building. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, early voting is going on. Who are you voting for? Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Early voting is taking place. Who are you voting for? I say none of them.
Red wins.
These are not nice people. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to talk about early voting and the candidates. I did actually want to talk about that, and I may talk about that, but then I kind of switched it up a little bit. I'm going to talk about this individual named Zahi Jerris. What you heard there coming on, if you heard it, I was playing audio from an individual who was the lawyer for my landlord over my daycare center, where he was telling me about Sam Borelli and how he spoke to Sam Borelli about me, and that something with the C of O that we weren't doing correctly, but nothing that was being mentioned to us. And so I want to talk about this because it's very unfortunate. We started this business to provide a service to the community that's very much needed. They talk about it all the time. We need UPKs, we need after school programming, we need childcare and affordable and good, great quality childcare service and academic services, right? And that's what we wanted to do. And for a very long time, we weren't getting paid from some of our students because we weren't collecting the subsidies, and we were working to do everything that the city initially wanted us to do. And then we got to a point where we had to do some things that the Office of Children and Family Services now was requiring us to do. And it was hell, almost 3 years of hell trying to get our business opened. My wife is very upset right now, but we're moving forward one way or another. We're going to move forward. And so we're now looking at other places. We've reached out to, certain individuals in other places outside of Yonkers to possibly open up our daycare center, because this is something we want to do. And we're not going to stop. We're not going to allow these individuals to shut us down and prevent us from living our lives. That's for sure. Simply because I spoke to the people of Yonkers about what is going on here in the city. Why is it that business owners have such problems like I had? Why is it that city residents are not getting the services or have access to resources and opportunities like other cities, municipalities have? Why is it that our kids are not in a universal pre-K program when they should be? Why is it that our kids' IEPs are not being serviced correctly? Why is it that our schools are being rated as low as a 2 out of 10? These are many questions that I asked. These are problems that I was hoping to be a part of a solution to. But here in the city of Yonkers, I've come to learn that doing the right thing is not welcomed. It's not welcomed. What it's all about is how those who have the power to make things happen can benefit. If they don't see a benefit from you, then they're not likely to help you. I remember when our remote learning center, which is how we started our daycare initially, was a remote learning center. And we supplied all the kids with our laptops that we bought with our own money. And we provided a place for parents who still had to go to work to drop off their kids so that they can continue doing their work via their remote learning platforms and not get behind. Many came to us behind many assignments, as parents and students alike did not know how to navigate the platforms if they did have a laptop or a computer at home. And this was very difficult. And so we got kids in and we caught them up, and parents were very grateful for this, very, very grateful for it. And then we were contacted by news agencies, Channel 12, Telemundo. There was another one that we did Channel 12 a couple times. And as soon as we were on the news, we started to get the knocks at the door. And who was it? The various candidates who were running for office. People like Tim Hodges, James Nolan, London Reyes, and others came to ask for our support, brought signs, brought palm cards, and any other literature that they thought might be helpful and that I might want so I can pass out and even put up at my business and at my home. And I did. I put signs up, put them on my lawn, put them on the air conditioning at the daycare center. And I even attended events. I brought checks. And little did I know, $100, $250 would have been fine, but I was writing $500 checks. Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, Tim Hodges, Tasha Diaz. And I was trying to build relationships because what I wanted to do was bring something positive to the community. And I realized that building relationships with our elected officials, or I assumed I should say, would be a good thing. And so I tried. I mean, they started to come to us after seeing us on the news. I remember when my wife went and spoke. She was vice president, of the Yonkers Council of PTAs, the group that oversaw all the PTAs, the local PTAs in each school. She was the vice president, and she was tasked with going up to speak in front of the city council in regards to the need for more money for our kids, for counselors, for social workers, and other, therapeutic services, psychologists, because of the pandemic. And so she spoke very well, spoke of the need, why there was a need, and why it was very important to secure more money to be able to fund these additional staff. And so when we got there, I remember many of the city council members came up to us and said hello. Mike Cater, John Rubo, others said hello. How you doing? And everything was nice, right? Everything was nice. And so following meeting, Tasha Diaz, the chair of the education committee, stood up and said, I want to announce that we just added $5 more million to the school budget, thanks to Andrea Vasquez, who came here and spoke very well about the need for social workers, guidance counselors, and psychologists in our schools. And so we thought we did some great. She was very proud. I was proud of her. I said, look, babe, she didn't even know. I showed it to her. They're saying your name because of you and what you said. They added another $5 million to the budget. My wife, also, little did I know, while sitting on the couch one day on the computer or on her laptop, applied for a grant. She got the grant, $5,000, which she gave to the schools, and they used it for laptops for students who didn't need. Rather than say, hey, let's keep that for our own nonprofit or for our own benefit, she donated it to the schools. And we were trying to be positive, productive members of this community. But unfortunately, it didn't go the way we had hoped. And here we are today, looking for a new location for our daycare center because we were delayed purposely, intentionally, given a hard time. We came to realize just how connected everyone seems to be. You can't escape this web of politicians and lawyers, judges, landlords, and everybody else that's connected to it. Whether it's someone up at the Office of Children and Family Services, like the sister of Vera Shako, a judge who was supported by none other than Zahi Jeris, or the Westchester Child Care Council. People there connected to these individuals. And little did I know that the landlord attorney also was very connected to these individuals. And they did everything they could to delay us. First, it started with Sam Borelli at the building department. For whatever reason, they couldn't tell us everything we needed to do at once. They would give us a sheet of the things we needed to add. We draw up our plans, we submit them, we move forward, and they say, oh, no, wait, you have to add this. Okay. Do the same thing. And then another thing we had to add. So finally, we said, let's just have a meeting. Let's sit down and let's go over the plans and make sure we have everything on there. And that's what we did. We sat with a planning examiner by the name of Michael Rappy, or Rape, whatever his name is, Rapey. And for 40 minutes, we met. He reviewed my plans. He made all the notes and markings that he said we needed to do. And he told me, time is of the essence. Hurry up and get your plans amended. And before you turn them in, do me let me help you out here. Give them to me so I can review to make sure that everything we just spoke about was done. Cool. I appreciate that. I'll give them to you right away. Next day, I got the plans, sent them over to Mr. Michael Rappy, hoping that he'd review them the same day, at least maybe get back to me by the next day so I can turn them in, because I had done everything that he mentioned. But I didn't get back those plans until 3 weeks later. The man said it was a time of the essence thing, yet he took 3 weeks to review my plans and get them back to me to let me know that everything was good. But when he got back to me, he added new shit to the plans. Why didn't he tell me these things when we met the first time? I don't know. Maybe he forgot. But here I am now having to amend my plans again. And if you know anything about having plans amended by an architect, it costs money. And more importantly, it costs time. Time. They even came up on me one day as I was walking out and had a surprise inspection. There was 4 individuals, 2 from the fire department, 2 from the building department. There was the fire marshal and the lieutenant. There was Jerry, the electrical inspector, and another building inspector. And they wanted to get in, and I messed with them. I said, no, I'm not going to give you access. And they then started to threaten me every which way. Audio that I have posted up. They didn't realize I was recording, but once they did, they changed their tune. They threatened to have the building condemned. They threatened to give me violations. They threatened to have a warrant, get a warrant to come into the building if I did not let them inside. Why was it to the point where they threatened to give me, to get a warrant? Why did they threaten to condemn the building if I didn't give them access? Then I asked them, can you really do this? One guy said yes, another guy said no, damn near at the same time. The one that said no said, I'm going to take a step back and let the lieutenant answer. He was being honest. Then they realized I was recording, and they said, no, wait, guys, we could do this a different way. It doesn't have to go this way. And they became nicer. So I let them in. We weren't hiding anything. They thought we had kids in at that time, and we didn't. No kids, no nothing. We just trying to get ourselves up and going. And the fire marshal looked around and said, hey, All you need are these new smoke detectors and CO2 detectors that have a 10-year battery life. Just make sure you get these up. You should be good as far as fire protection. We have a small space. It's bigger than it looks, but it's not that big. It's a one classroom building. According to New York State Fire Protection and Safety Codes, as long as we have an occupancy load of under 50, we do not need this manual fire station. According to the International Building Codes, same thing. So we met the requirements of the city, of the state, of the International Building Safety Codes. But the Office of Children and Family Services were requiring that all child care centers, no matter how big, how small, were to have these manual fire pull stations. But interestingly enough, it was just added October 13th of 2021, 10 months after we had initiated our application to get licensed. But because the building department here in the city of Yonkers held me up, going back and forth, adding things, saying that I needed a water fountain, then I needed a commercial sink, then I needed a mop sink. Don't know why I needed a commercial sink. We already had 4 sinks in this place. Don't know why I needed a mop sink when we had mostly carpet. It's one area in the classroom that was wood floors, but we had a commercial mop bucket that we used. Never used a mop sink. So we installed the smoke detectors that they were nice enough, the Yonkers Fire Department, to give us and tell us this is what you needed. But then they started to give me a difficult time about a banner that I had. A banner. I mean, these guys were on me so much that they even had a meeting about this, where they were saying how it's not fair that owners of buildings get the violations for the signs that the business owners put up, and then they don't pay for the fees or the fines, I should say, that they get. This was because of us, because of what we were going through. So this is what Sam Borelli thought was important, as if we were not going to pay the $500 fine to the landlord, as if we should have been even getting any fines to begin with. It was a banner, and there's so many banners up, and no one has filed a permit for it. They don't fine them. Then I had to deal with the leaves. Somebody kept bringing leaves and putting it right in front of our daycare center, damn near every day. Piled them up nice and neat in front. Mind you, there's no trees anywhere. It could be summer, it was winter, didn't matter if it was fall, spring, we would always get these leaves here. Then we put the cameras up and it stopped. No more leaves. Finally, we got through the Yonkers building department after I had to speak with Vinny Spano and say, hey, Vinny, what's going on here? We need to move forward with this application from the Office of Children and Family Services. But the building department has given us such a hard time over a banner. So they said, okay, we'll give you a temporary thing. Just get the sign. We're working on the sign. We got the deposit with the sign people. We're working on it. Then, as we're about to finish with our application, they say, wait a minute, you need a fire system. Now they were holding us to this fire system that they had just added to their regulations after October 13, 2021, because it took so long when we initiated our application in January of 2021, that by the time we were to that point, now we needed this fire system that they just had added. And I don't know why, when we started our application before, you were requiring this fire system. And why is it that the Office of Children and Family Services, that is not a building department, that are not engineers, that are not fire safety officials, that deal strictly with child abuse, child daycares, and everything else children, are requiring that we put a manual fire system. This is a pull station. So when there's a fire, you pull it to alert everyone else in the building. The problem with that is that in our place, everyone is going to know that there's a fire. No one has to tell anyone. It's so small that you are going to know automatically that there's a fire. We have fire alarms. We have the ADT alarm fire system that also calls the 911 if we don't for whatever reason. By the time we go to pull this fire alarm, we're going to be out the building. It's going to set off an alarm for who? No one will be in the building. We don't have a second floor. We didn't have hallways, nothing. It's small. It's very small. And again, we're under 50. But they gave this hard time. We had to do it. So, okay, let's do it. Let's spend the $10,000 now that this is going to cost us after we've been paying rent how long and we haven't had any kids and been making any money. But hey, we got to spend another 10 grand. Let's do it. That's what we have to do, right? Okay. Well, we sent the paperwork to landlord so they can sign it because we don't own the building. They have to sign off on any work that's going to be done there to get the permits. And they didn't want to sign. They didn't want to sign. So now we can't move forward with our license. There's money that the state owes us in subsidies that we cannot collect. And they don't want to sign. So I said, well, then I'm gonna pay the rent because we're not making any money. We have to be within a certain parameters. We can't have X amount of kids until we get this fire system now. We're very limited on what we can do. And it's causing me not to make any money. Whatever money we make, we pay it to the staff. We pay it in whatever bills we have. How can I make money when we're not getting paid from some of the kids that we have because they collect subsidies? And they felt bad. They said, if they're not paying, we'll just, take our kid out. I'm sorry. We really don't want to. They wanted to stay there. We wanted to keep them. We said, we're going to work it out. Don't worry. We'll get our paid, we'll collect the retro pays. Okay. But they didn't want to sign. And so we got to a point where I owed a certain amount of money and they agreed that they would sign. And I wrote the check and we gave them the check and they didn't sign. But they weren't saying that they didn't want to sign. Now it was that they didn't want to sign the document that way. They wanted to produce a separate document that would say that they were giving us consent so we can then sign that paper, which I don't know why when all the other work that was done, you guys signed the document. They signed it, no problem. No problem. And I didn't understand what the issue was. They were so great with us. Very understanding. I mean, there were issues like a wall that was missing that had nothing to do with us that also delayed us because the building department wanted to know what happened to that wall. Well, we didn't know. We didn't take it out. The landlord didn't know. It's her building, but she didn't know. And so we had to deal with that for 30 days. We had to figure that out. We had to get our architect to determine that that was safe, that to have had that wall removed, that was probably removed a long, long time ago, but yet here we are having to now deal with it. So everything they did was to delay us, to hurt me, to hurt my pocket, to suffocate us financially, to wear us down emotionally, to wear us down mentally. This is what they do to people in the city of Yonkers. If you don't comply, if you don't conform, if you don't do things the way they want you to, if you don't kiss ass, if you don't support certain candidates, and if you speak the truth. And that's a problem, that a man like Zahi Jeris can have such connections to do that to someone. He can have Sam Borelli do whatever it is he wants to anyone trying to open up a business or trying to do some work at their home. Or he can have some building inspectors go by your property and give you a ticket. You don't think he can do that? He absolutely can. He has Samborelli damn near on speed dial because he does a lot of business with Samborelli. Just ask the guy from Marked Realty. One day I was speaking to him and I hit the record button on my phone. And he let the cat out the bag also. He was trying to give me some advice on how I can get my permits or have no issues with the building department. I have to be nice to Mr. Jarris. I can't talk about him on my podcast. This is what Mr. Mark Realty was telling me over there near Mulberry Street, actually. And so this is what they did. And people in the city know. It's unfortunate that the mayor's office knows this and these things are allowed to happen. That is the power that Zahi Jarris is given for what he can do. He gets candidates elected. He gets them funding. And if they need a few extra ballots to give him the extra push over the edge, he will do that. That's his specialty. Corrupting officials, whether elected or appointed, having them in his pocket to either help you for a fee or hurt you for free. And the landlord's attorney, the guy is very well aware and connected with Samborelli. I have no doubt with Zahi Jarris, Wilson Kimball. I've connected them, through apartments that they own, investment properties, where he's the lawyer for these management companies that manage these apartments on Midland Avenue and Bronxville Road. Wilson Kimball is a part of the Tenants Association. You don't think she knows the lawyer of the management company? He knows Samborelli well. You don't think he doesn't know Zahi Jarris, who knows Samborelli very well? You don't think when they realized who the attorney was that they reached out to him? In fact, Tony Margie and I have the same landlord. Tony Margie, the big guy that told me I had to leave from the Castle Royale the other day. Guy that doesn't like me because I talked about how he ended up getting a job at DPW after doing campaign work in 2021 and how his medical exam was doctored and was, fraudulently so he can, get the jobs. He can pass the physical. The man's on dialysis. I can't imagine they would allow you to drive the city vehicles, because you can have a medical emergency while driving the city vehicle if you have no kidneys and you need dialysis. See, certain people can get a job with the city, get paid by the taxpayers, and still on city time be at their business, setting their business up, while you will struggle with yours if you speak the truth. And so many people here who have city jobs also have businesses that they get to focus on and work on while on the dime of the taxpayers. So we're going to go and find another place. We're already looking, because that's what we have to do. Here in Yonkers, it's difficult to start a business. It's difficult to operate if you are someone that speaks the truth. If you're not going to kiss ass, if you're not going to be willing to, possibly commit crimes. Why do you think a lot of those people were there at the Castle Royale? I mean, people like Alberto Velasquez. It was a Arabic and Pakistani Indian event. Had nothing to do with unions or Latinos. So why was he there? To cause trouble? It's sad. Still trying to get my son's high school diploma. Yeah. There's so much that needs to be done. And I've been speaking about it, trying to fight for the people of the city of Yonkers. And what do? They come after me. And they'll shut my business down. And they'll use people who work in these different departments, these different agencies to do so. And that's the problem. This is why it needs to be spoken about. This is why it needs to be talked about. This is why everyone needs to be aware of what's happening. It has to stop. When is it going to end? How many people have been retaliated on, got their jobs lost, got their business shut down, got fines and violations at their properties or their businesses, have been delayed, have been, hurt financially, hurt emotionally, hurt mentally. And this is going on, and people know at the very top, and they don't care. Because if you speak the truth, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. And so I'm tired of it. I decided to speak the truth. I knew what the consequences were. I knew that this could happen. And I accepted it. So I'm not here crying about it. Sure, I'm upset about it. Our parents who loved our place, who were wondering, would we get back opened up? And Brian, they will get their money back. If we owe anyone money, because it wasn't many who we owe money. Not everyone had paid up front or paid for the summer program. That was the only thing that people had to get their money back, but we absolutely will. No problem. See, Brian, I know you don't know about that. You know, you're part of the problem. This Brian Harrick guy living in a Macy or Mulford Corporation owned property managed by individuals that are on the board of this Mulford Corporation that was started by Macy. Why would they need to start the Mulford Corporation if you already have Macy? I don't understand, but that's the story for another time. Let's talk about this event that I was at. They sure do been through. Yeah. Mr. ABC, always bring cash. Well, I don't understand why they keep this guy around, but maybe, again, it's his abilities to win elections, to rig elections. He's got the Board of Elections on lock. You should have hired Empire Strategic. The night is the darkest just before the dawn, brother. Whether Nick Spano wins or loses his election, the democracy is coming back to YO. This election, democracy is coming back to YO. You know, and I'm hearing a lot of things, but I don't know. This is Zahi Jeris. Just so you can get a little bit understanding who Zahi Jeris is. Let's read about him. Former head of Yonkers Republican Party pleads guilty in White Plains to federal court, White Plains federal court to payroll tax fraud. The guy's a fraudster, but he gets more respect from our elected officials than individuals like me who are trying to do great things for the community. How is that possible? How does the city council president thank him? How does Tasha Diaz thank him? Shanae Williams. Why does he speak before the mayor's going up to speak? How does he introduce the mayor? The man has been convicted of political corruption, extortion, blackmail, 2-time convicted felon. The fact that he operates in our politics is unbelievable, and I cannot even understand how is that even possible. I cannot even grasp or wrap my head around the fact that the man is able to work with judges like Dan Romano, Ada Medina, Vereshchako. If he supports them, funds them, runs their campaign, manages them, gets them their votes, their support, their money, what favors do they owe him? I mean, Department of Justice, FBI, somebody answer that. Is this legit? Mr. ABC's days of numbers, feds got him in the radar for all the favors he's doing. Absolutely. The real estate rackets, the zoning law changing that's happening. How is it that Wilson Kimball is the president of Macy, the chairwoman of the zoning board of appeals, the president of this Mulford Corporation, one of the owners of the management companies that manages these affordable and low income properties that were once owned by Macy, but not no more. And how is it that the feds are not here? Her husband is at the YIDA. Even if they're not doing anything wrong, we still need to break that up. Still need to break that up. It makes no sense to have convicted felons, people that were investigated by the New York State Inspector General, like Wilson Kimball and James Kavanaugh, who are over at Macy and the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency, respectively, the both of them investigated by New York State Inspector General, yet they operate within our agencies here in the city of Yonkers. Why do you think these developers are not hiring local? They're getting the programs and benefits from the Industrial Development Agency, but they're not hiring local. Jarris, 41, of Scarsdale, New York, pled guilty to one count of aiding and assisting in the preparation of false and fraudulent payroll tax return. He faces a maximum sentence of 3 years in prison and a maximum fine of greater than of $250,000 or twice the gross gain derived or loss that resulted from the crime. Jarris will be sentenced by Judge Ramos on June 4th, 2013. On March 29, 2012, after a 7-week jury trial before U.S. District Judge Colleen McMahon, Jarris was convicted of conspiracy, bribery, and extortion in connection with a scheme to bribe a Yonkers City Councilwoman to flip her vote on 2 real estate development projects. Do you think that Tasha Diaz's flip was not the same situation? He is the guy that's behind Tasha Diaz, the majority leader. The same position of the councilwoman that he corrupted. So he's convicted of bribery and extortion, conspiracy. How is he allowed to operate within our Yonkers Democratic Committee? All you Democrats, answer this question or ask yourself the question. How is it that Zahi Jarris, his son, his wife are allowed to operate within the Yonkers Democratic Committee? His son and his wife are ward leaders. How does he get to sit down and challenge Hector Santiago's petition signatures at the Board of Elections? How is that okay? We have to have some kind of integrity within our elections and our politics and our government. Where's the integrity? Where's the confidence that there's not corruption going on? Look at what they do to people who speak out. Look what they do to employees who speak out. You contact Carlos Moran, that's it for you. This is the guy. This is the guy that's corrupting our politics. Why we have the problems we have here in the city of Yonkers. So the guy was convicted again, conspiracy, bribery, and extortion in connection with a scheme to bribe a Yonkers City Councilwoman to flip her vote on 2 real estate development projects. On November 19, 2012, he was sentenced in that case to 48 months. So how is he engaged with judges? How are judges engaging in business with him? They don't care. Anything to win, right, Judge? Anything for that $200,000 city court position, right? Unbelievable. Let's take a look at let's go to the footage. Let's go to the film. This is a convicted felon, bribery, conspiracy, and extortion. What is he doing up there speaking on politics? Standing next to Nader Sayegh, the mayor, Senator Spano. I don't understand this.
Hey. So, come on in. I want a brother. We consider him family. Today actually is. We not only consider him a brother, we consider him family. And our community is very fortunate to have someone like him for the last 12 years representing our city. This mayor is about inclusion. He's about diversity. He's about opportunity. There's not a single department in this city that does not have an Arab American working in there. And we should all be very proud of that.
Is that true? Is there not a single department in the city of Yonkers that does not have an Arabic working in it? John, at what level? Any department heads? Any principals? Commissioners? Deputy commissioners? Deputy mayors? Zoning board chairs? Planning board chairs? Anything? The so-called Arab leaders talk so highly of the mayor about diversity, yet not one Arab in the mayor's cabinet. Plenty of $60,000 a year jobs in schools and DPW, but not one deputy or director in any post. The same as Latinos and blacks. The blacks, the Latinos, and the Arabs. Definitely us blacks and Latinos get, the short end of the stick. Our businesses get harassed. We don't get to buy the properties that are going up for auction under tax liens because they don't tell us about it, so we can't build our wealth. They reserve those for the Romanos. They can buy the property without no one knowing for $2,500. Ain't that right?
Whether it's in the Board of Education, whether it's in the building department, PVB, finance, the Arab American community is represented well in the city of Yonkers, and this mayor always made a commitment that how the city reflects is how his administration is going to reflect. And that's why we have one of the most diverse administrations that Yonkers has ever had.
What does he mean by that? What does he mean by that? One of the most diverse administrations. Is he talking about the 4 black city council or 3 black, 1 Latina city council members? Is he talking about Brenton Bullock? Who is he talking about? Is there a black deputy mayor? Is there a black or Latino head of the zoning board or planning board? I mean, it makes sense in the education because, 63% of the population in the schools is Latino. How many Latino principals? Probably more than black. But how many blacks? How many black guidance counselors, social workers. Let's understand what really means diversity. I'm not talking about women. Yes, women are minorities, but I'm talking about the color of your skin.
Say today's begins early voting, and it's important that our friends and our family vote today. Let's win this thing early and quick. Make sure we get our friends, our family, our neighbors. It's important that we all turn out. There's also two other candidates that are running along with the mayor that he needs as a partner. Is Shanae Williams. I don't know if she's here, but Shanae is very, very important. So when you go out there, when you look on the ballot, if you see Shanae Williams, Deanna Robinson, very important. Two people that we need to make sure win on Tuesday the 27th.
You hear that? Two people that we need to make sure win on June 27th. Shanae Williams and Deanna Robinson. Why is that? Why is that? And it's funny how Shanae Williams tried to deny any connection with Zahi Jeris. Well, there you go. You can't deny it, Shanae. You're a liar. Why does he need Deanna Robinson to win? Because they need to control the district where the developments are going up. They have to control District 1. They can't allow Shatika Parker to win, but she should be the one you should be voting for in District 1. The blacks, you guys need to get together and say, hey, it's Shatika Parker that we need to be voting for if you want to save your community. It's only a matter of time before the Neperhan Community Center is gone too. I've learned that they like to delay you. They like to string you along, buy themselves time. But time's up. Time's up. And now we're going to hit them harder. Doesn't matter now. Let's talk about the affairs. Wait for those podcasts. They're going to be coming too. So black folks in the Northwest side, Southwest side, Latinos, you need to vote for Shatika Parker, District 1. Shatika Parker, spread the word. Do you want to make change? Do you want to stop this corruption? Spread this podcast. Spread the word. Shatika Parker, District 1. If you do not spread the word, if you do not get out there and vote for Shatika Parker, do not complain moving forward. I'm telling you now, Shatika Parker is the one you need to be voting for in District 1. No disrespect to Deanna, but unfortunately, Deanna, you're connected with the people that are the problem. They've held your people back, Latinos back, and you know it. You know it. Deanna, one day we're all going to go to meet God and he's going to judge us and he's going to say, did you do the right thing? Material things don't last. They come and go. But your dignity, your relationship with God is forever. Your kids, when they have to look at you and say, did my dad do the right thing? That's forever. So speak out, Deanna. Otherwise, Shatika Parker is who you need to vote for. Let's end this. Let's stop this guy, Zahi Jeris. Shanae Williams is not the person you folks in District 16 voting for county legislator should be voting for. Continue with Chris Johnson. It's going to get worse. If you think it's bad, if you think it's great, don't change it. The man behind these two, Deanna and Shanae, is obviously Zahi Jeris. The man that corrupts and bribes candidates, elected officials. Why would you vote for a candidate who has this man as their manager? He is not just a manager. He's not just a campaign strategist. He is their puppet master. What he says goes. Bottom line. What he says goes. So if you vote for Shanae, if you vote for Deanna, you might as well write Zahi Jeris's name. That's who you are voting for. Enough. It must end. Mayor Mike doesn't feel the need to have Black or Hispanic people appointed to his cabinet. He thinks Jada and Styles will deliver the Black vote, and even they looked uncomfortable. Enough is enough.
With this, I want to continue the program. I want to introduce Dr. Rabati.
Thank you, Jay. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all. It's nice to see us all come together, work together, and unite for a common cause. And that common cause, as Zahi said, is to make sure that this administration continues the wonderful work that it.
Why would Zahi want this current administration to continue? What interest does Zahi have in seeing this administration continue? Why? Think about this. Why, Dr. Rabati? Why would you want to see this administration continue? Folks, do you understand that Mr. Dr. Rabati is a $200,000 a year doctor for the city? He gets to work 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week for $200,000. Is that a fair deal, taxpayers? Is that a fair deal? This man went up and spoke in support of the term limit extension because he has to. You got a sweet gig, $200,000 a year, and you only have to work 20 hours a week. And on top of that, you get to bring in your contracts from the medical facilities that you work at outside of Yonkers so we can do all the testing here, so we can do all the COVID stuff here, the COVID supplies, the PPE supplies. He gets him the contract. He gets a kickback. These folks only come up because they benefit. They want to keep their gravy train going. He doesn't care about the majority of the Arabic community. It's about money and politics. Look what they did to Mike Cater. Look at what they did to their own member of their community. It's no different than a Latino doing it to his own or a Black doing it to his own. This happens all the time in order to gain favoritism from who? Who's above that? This is what you call a sellout. You lie to your community. You tell them how great it is, how diverse it is, how wonderful it is. We have so many Arabs working in the city. Never getting promoted, never reaching $200,000 a year. He's going to keep that spot, and he's going to keep selling that to the community so they can keep voting the way that their elder tells them to vote. He's their elder. He gets a lot of respect. He's opening up a church. He's going to bring half of the Arabic community there. The other half is going to stay at the other church. They're divided. Many know but won't speak out that the few, like Dr. Rabati, are simply in it for their own selves. It's culture, it's tradition. You got to go along with it. And so that's a tight grip. That's a voter base that he controls. When you have a voter base that you can control, you have leverage. What do you want? If I had a voter base, I would have had everything I wanted at my daycare center. And that's probably what they hoped. He's going to have a daycare center. He's going to have families. He can persuade them to vote for us. But they saw that I wasn't about the ass kissing. And so they said, screw him. Let's screw him. And that's what they did. Zahi Jeris didn't like the fact that I was questioning why is it that a convicted felon is involved in our politics. And then the more I learned about how he manipulates elections, how he has individuals positioned within the Board of Elections, within our ward leaders, within our district leaders, within our city council, Why do you think Lakeisha Collins Bellamy introduced the term limit extension by herself? What else has she done? I tried looking for legislation that these individuals have passed that was benefiting to the people, and I couldn't find any. In 2 years, I couldn't find any. I found legislation introduced by Mike Breen to reduce the requirement so that Sam Borelli could become the building department commissioner because he was not qualified otherwise. And so for that, he will do whatever they tell him to, including Zahi Jeris. Did he hurt Tasha Diaz like that? Did he give her a hard time when she, in public at a live meeting, implied that he mistreats women? I guess all the women now got a raise up at the building department, I hear. You better have given them a raise. It was coming out that you mistreat them.
It's been doing across Yonkers. You see all the construction. You see all of the businesses building up. You see the improvements and the diversity that's been built. It's a very inclusive administration. You look at the Board of Trustees and the Yonkers Board of Ed, it's a very diverse.
So there's Frankie Jeris in the background. This is the campaign manager, quote unquote, for Shanae Williams, Tasha Diaz. That's the son of Zahi Jeris. He was recently given a job as the secretary of the Human Rights Commission. They let go of the person that was there, put him in without announcing it to anyone else, offering the position to people who are already there in the community. This guy is a very, entitled, spoiled kid. He gets everything he wants. Private schools, doesn't do community service. He attacks people online with fake pages on behalf of his dad, who stands behind Dr. Amir Rabadi, because together they control the Arabic community. They help the Arab business owners get permits, Jewish ones as well, or anyone who will pay them. He is a convicted felon. A man who purposely and with intention shut down a daycare center that's much needed in the community. Not only hurting me, hurting other families, hurting my employees who now don't have a job, Zahi, but you will continue to make all your money through your contributors, your donors, the developers, the investors, in order to get them favors with the administration and the building department. The individuals in that room are not the Arabic community. Those aren't the Arabic people. Those are those who are seeking favors, who are looking to curry favors. Those are business owners, wealthy individuals. They're looking for favors. The elected officials are looking for donations. A surgeon like Rabadi in their pocket is bad enough. Imagine having a police union heads. It's strange that a lot of people use him as their doctor, primary doctor. That's what they want to do. But that's why the Dr. Rabadi's up there. He has a $200,000 a year job. Works 20 hours a week. Gets to focus on his other jobs and businesses and investments, the oil companies. They funnel this money to these campaigns. Where do you think they get all this money from? How does the mayor raise $500,000 in such a short amount of time? Who are these big donors? What interest do they have in our elections here in Yonkers? They influence our elections, but they don't live here. They get priority over the people that live here, who send their kids to school here, who are looking for a job here, or who work here, who are trying to open up a business here. Instead of a grand opening, they sent CPS to my daycare center. From day one, they have been trying to hurt me. I had a family incident before we opened up at the daycare center. It wasn't strangers. That was a family situation. Unfortunately, I have family members who abuse heroin. I try to help people, and look where it got me. And they exploited that video with the help of my cousin, Erwin Vasquez, aka Erwin Spano, Vinny Spano's best friend. His wife urged people on social media to call CPS on me. They sent CPS to my business during the time we had the after school program going, when we were supposed to be having my grand opening. But the mayor didn't show up. CPS did instead. They accused me of child pornography, of having guns and drugs. This is what they've done. The city council president's chief of staff, Maria George, was telling people that I was into child pornography. And she's not just telling any old regular people. She's telling elected officials, mayors, and prominent people here in Westchester this, having a conversation about me. I'm nowhere to be found. I don't even know this woman. And this is what they're doing, spreading this lie. The city council president's chief of staff. You think she apologized? It's a fact. No. But she's upset because she says that I called her a little black puppet, which I did not. I thought lawyers could comprehend better, but I guess not. But hey, it's all fair in love and war, right? I mean, your chief of staff was going around way before that saying that I was into child porn. What's worse? Spreading a lie like that, or being called a name by somebody? Huh, Lakeisha? So, we're going to sue your ass. That's right. I'm going to sue these motherfuckers. So I'm going to sue them. Maria George, you're going to get sued. I have witnesses. People are going to get subpoenaed. It's going to be a whole shit show. Because the money that I was going to spend at my daycare center, the $10,000 to put the fire alarm system, the rent money that I was going to be paying these guys, I'm going to give that to an attorney, and I'm going to sue you. Professionally and in your personal capacity. You were defaming my name, Maria George. There are people that were there that you told that are not going to perjure themselves on the stand. Maria George. Wait on it. Now it's my turn to send out the lawsuits. And I'm going to continue to bang you folks out on this podcast. So send me the information. politicwithfred@gmail.com. Send me the information. I want to show you a video real quick. By the way, folks, I saw the guy Adam there, the one that came to my house. I said nothing to him. In fact, I smiled at him and tapped him on the shoulder. If I was looking for a fight, it would have been that guy. But unfortunately, Alberto Velasquez, the CSEA 9169 president, does not know how to conduct himself while the mayor is speaking and challenged me to a fight. That was Alberto's fault to the Arabic communities, to the Pakistani, to the Indian, to everyone who was in there. That was Alberto Velasquez, who had no business there. He's the reason why there was an issue. He challenged me to fight right there. Look at them. And then this is what they do. You think these guys don't look to start problems? 1000% they do. This guy's a convicted pedophile, Maria George. Maria George, he actually had child pornography in his phone, Maria George. I have the police report that his friend right here that's smoking this cigar sold to me, okay? Alberto Velasquez, and these are friends. This is how grimy politics is. Politics is the most disgusting. I've never seen the biggest bunch of liars, cheats, and steals. Disgusting thieves. Disgusting. They are all about themselves. Don't believe a word they say. These two are supposed to be friends. Alberto Velasquez sold me the police report with Ruros and the child pornography. And I'm outing him because he's a POS, Alberto. And by the way, I'm going to out him even more. Hey, Nasser, Cal Nasser, the Nasser family. You know who was giving me information about the arrest and all that stuff? Alberto Velasquez. Yeah, that's right. I'm outing him. I think he might have been in the room. You guys were there too, I think. Were you? Hanging out with him? That's right. Through a mutual acquaintance, he brought me the FBI information regarding the Nasser, John Nasser. Just letting you guys know, I'm being straight up. I don't lie like you guys. I don't do all that. I keep it honest. Alberto Velasquez sold me. Oh, that time I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. What I did, however, was I recorded it because the guy let me go see it in the bathroom. We met at, was that bar that used to be Tyrone's? We met there. I'm being straight up. Pull the footage. Pull the footage. He's giving me information on the Nasser family and Nick Spano. Alberto Velasquez. 1,000% through a mutual friend. Mutual acquaintance, I said, not my friends, a mutual acquaintance. Just want to put it out there. That's the POS snake he is, guys. Right, Nassers? That's how I got a lot of y'all information. Right there. That guy. Ruros, that's how I got the police report with your child pornography on it and on your phone. Alberto Velasquez. I paid for that. I didn't pay for the Nasser thing because I took it to the bathroom and I filmed it. Just saying. There you go. There you go, Nassers. There you go. Look at them. And then they're friends. Scumbags. Scumbags. That's what they are. So that's what they, birds of a feather flock together. Now, really quick, I want to show a video. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to look for it. I'll show it to you next time, folks. I want to show the video of, the mayor on Black Westchester, I believe it was, the podcast. And, they ask about Akeem Jamal. And this is a guy that drove drunk. And I saw Akeem the other day. Akeem, I saw you in the barber. I saw you as soon as you walked in because I peep everything. I was getting a haircut. And Akeem Jamal, I guess he goes there and he walked in. And then he kind of stepped back out. But then he came in. I saw him. Akeem Jamal is the guy that was hanging out with the mayor and a bunch of other guys who got so drunk out of his mind that ended up driving the wrong way down Central Park Avenue, crashing into a vehicle, injuring another individual who then sued and won. But when asked about it, the mayor was actually, saying, he's a good kid, this, that, and the third. He didn't get fired. He didn't lose his job. Building department didn't give him a hard time. Nothing like that. He didn't get written up. Nothing. He got promoted. And he continues to be a part of the cabal that runs the city of Yonkers. He continues to benefit along with his family members. And yet, other people who speak truth get attacked, get retaliation, right? So I'm assuming now, based on all of this, that the city prefers criminals. The city of Yonkers prefers criminals. They hire people with felonies. They engage with people who are felons. They engage with people who are convicted pedophiles, who have convictions for drugs, drug dealers. There's a huge drug problem in DPW. Everybody knows about it. Yet and still nothing is done. This place is unbelievable. And now I'm about to open up the can of worms. The information that I was not going to present initially will now be presented. What do I have to lose? My life? Was that a knife you guys were trying to pass there? By the way, Yonkers police, I highlighted the fact that these individuals are passing a knife to possibly try and use it on me, and you guys didn't reach out to me. But when I spoke about La Grota parties, I get an email about that. What's more of a concern? My life or who was at La Grota parties? You want to know? Oh, it's been an hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to get up out of here after this. So I used to know a guy, right? And why I even talked about it, because this piece of ish tried to screw me, right? So I knew this guy, very well, very successful guy, got a lot of money here in Yonkers. And I did a favor for his son. His son owed me $7,400. I told the son, just pay me $4,000. I just want my expenses, because I know no worries, whatever. Didn't give me that to chase him down. Finally, I see him across the street from my business, my daycare. I go up on him and I press him. This is what I do. Like, I'm not playing. I want my money. Ends up giving me my money. But I don't know why I had to do that, right? And I should have got my whole $7,400, really. But I'm a man of my word. I only asked for $4,000. I wasn't going to change it because he was trying to screw me over. That's my word. That's who I am, right? But then when you try and screw me, then that's it. All bets is off. We're done. Now, this guy, to curry favors from police officers, politicians, and other individuals, would throw these parties, right? Over at La Grota. That's the place. It's a Spanish place now on McLean. It's a big building. And upstairs, there's a balcony and there's a private room. And there would, be a whole spread of food, good food, cigars, we smoke, that's why I would, network, right? Because again, this is what you do, right? You got a network, whatever, boom, bam, bing. Then the entertainment comes out. And I was like, holy shit, this is what entertainment is. I've been to strip clubs before, and I've never been a big fan. I'll be honest. I never thought that was but I've been to them, right? But this was different. I mean, I've never seen it completely nude, and like they were doing all kinds of stuff there. These were, forget it, like, you know what I mean? Police officers, politicians. So David Tubiolo would be there, and that's how I knew David Tubiolo. Yeah, that's how I met him. I met him that way first. He was hanging out, having a good time, right, Dave? So if you want to know anything, Yonkers police, about what was going on there, who was there, just ask David Tubiolo. Who has more of an obligation to speak out and tell who was there? Me, a regular citizen, or a county legislator? Who? I mean, there was prostitution, I believe, going on. I believe. Was that right, Dave? Was there prostitution, Dave? What about cocaine usage? Oh, no, I think there might have been. What was it, Dave? I don't remember, Dave. Your memory's probably better than mine, Tubiolo. You remember that? Right? You remember? I forget. Get a little hazy. David Tubiolo was there, enjoying himself, and now he portrays himself like this sweet little guy. Oh, cute, could have done, innocent, da. No, these individuals are not. They're a bunch of liars, okay? They're fakes, they're frauds, they're out for themselves. They will tell you something and do something completely different. And unfortunately, you have to get just as dirty. And I'm going to get dirty. I'm ready. Now, I'm ready. The gloves are off. Just wait on it. The next podcasts are going to be explosive. So stay tuned. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. We're going to stay on. My daycare's closed, but we're going to stay on. We're open. We're not going anywhere. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't vote for Shanae Williams. Vote for Shatika Parker. Vote for Chris Johnson. Don't vote for Tasha Diaz. She's been selling all you out in District 3. Doesn't care. And she's committing some kind of scam up in Jefferson Towers where she's getting paid $500 to put people to the front of the line who are waiting for an apartment. I'm just saying, That's what she's doing. Her own cousin told me about this. I'm just saying, how your family, Tasha, told me that you did assault your stepdad. So why didn't she go to jail? Why did she go to jail? How does she get to assault somebody and not go to jail and still run for office, not have to resign? And the scans that they was running up in St. John's. I'm coming. Stay tuned. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. We're going to talk all about it. Told you I wasn't going anywhere. I was going to get even worse. I'm going to get worse. Talk about the affair, because it ain't fair. You got power, you control lawyers, you control judges, you control elected officials. But do you control Freddie Vasquez and the information that I'm about to unleash? Hey, wives, hold on to your hats. Hold on to your seats. Did you know your husband was having an affair on you? Did you know with who? I'm going to tell you. But you might already know. But I'm going to tell you anyway. Stay tuned for that. How you like me now?
Freddie wins. Fatality.
I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics, the place where truth lives and corruption dies. Say he no neck Jerris. I'm gonna tell them all. But you're not the only one that's cheating or that cheated. I got the paperwork. I got the paperwork. I got the paperwork. Hold on to your hats, wives. It's gonna be a bumpy ride this year. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Give me the information. politicwithfred@gmail.com. Let's put them on blast. Hey, don't screw me, I won't screw you. All right? Let's partner up. Let's put them on blast. Continue to send me the information. politicwithfred@gmail.com. You don't screw me, I won't screw you. Alberto screwed me, so screw him. He is the one that was selling information on Cal Nasser and his own buddy Rue Rose. What grimy motherfucker.
Freddie wins.
Grimy.
Fatality.
Let's get dirty. And I'm still gonna present you the information, the politics that's important, but we're also gonna have a Jerry Springer-like segment to Basement Politics.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Hold on to your seats. It's gonna be wild.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Oh, and we gotta dissect that Joe Sage thing. I'm still trying to find out, Joe, is that a joke or is that really your daughter? Just be honest. I try to reach out to you first. I'm gonna show people that I did reach out just to be fair, you know, because I did. And Alberto Velasquez, that was not nice what you said.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Is that your daughter, Joe Sage?
Freddie wins.
Or is that just a joke?
Fatality.
Did you send me that as a joke, or do you have a Venezuelan daughter?
Freddie wins.
She's heir to the throne of Zamunda. She is entitled to a lot of money if that's your daughter, Joe.
Freddie wins.
More money than that woman could ever have imagined. Ain't that something?
Freddie wins. Fatality.
From working at a food cart to being a multi-millionaire.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
We're gonna find out about that. Yeah. Yeah.
I know how the fuck you think you are. If you want to play this game, you're gonna lose it. I'll tell you right now. I know how the fuck you think you are. If you want to play this game, you're gonna lose it. I know how the fuck you think you are. If you want to play this game, you're gonna lose it. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. That's about right. It's balls to the wall now.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
going balls to the wall now.